I'm Jabin, and joining me today is Fred and Kedar. Together, we bring you updates on stories that directly impact Regent Park and surrounding areas.
In this episode, we delve into the latest news from April the 30th to May the 6th. Stay tuned for the latest updates and insights affecting our community. Demolition progress in Regent Park. The Center of Learning and Development as series presents Moss Park, a case study in neighborhood change and community organizing. Toronto Council Fire Native Culture Center hosts Inspiring Community Health Gathering 2024. Councillor Moise hosts housing clinics to aid Ward 13 residents. Dixon Hall's Storytelling Through Food celebrates Regent Park's culinary diversity. RPNA member addresses affordable housing challenges. RPTV's Gabriel Meissner covers Pro-Palestinian encampment at U of T. Regent Park reacts, Ontario school cellphone and vaping crackdown. Events and jobs in Regent Park community.
Demolition progress in Regent Park. Residents of Regent Park are witnessing significant progress as demolition continues for Building 4A, a crucial part of Phase 4's revitalization efforts. With bulldozers and excavators on site, the neighborhood is bustling with activity as construction moves forward, paving the way for social housing centered around Building 4A, alongside two additional developments. Toronto Community Housing Corporation, TCHC, is overseeing the phase revitalization of Regent Park into a mixed-use, mixed-income neighborhood. As part of this initiative, the remaining 527 social housing units in Regent Park are being demolished and replaced. Additionally, the construction of 633 replacement social housing units in phases 4 and 5 will ensure that all social housing units that existed in Regent Park prior to the revitalization are replaced. Stay tuned for further updates as the neighborhood continues its journey towards renewal.
The Center of Learning and Development as series presents Moss Park, a case study in neighborhood change and community organizing. On April the 30th, the Center of Learning and Development, CL&D, hosted the as series discussion focused on Moss Park, a case study in neighborhood change and community organizing, with David Robert, Director of University of Toronto's Urban Studies program. Roberts sheds light on the power dynamics deep-rooted in city building processes, particularly concerning the inclusion and exclusion of historically marginalized communities. Attendees were captivated by Roberts' insightful perspectives, which played a crucial role in shaping Moss Park's narrative and galvanizing community organizing. In an era marked by crises framing narratives, discussions like these play a vital role in amplifying marginalized voices, fostering community resilience, and steering urban development towards inclusivity. RPTV reporter Dewar Neem captured the event's essence, documenting key moments of the discussion to ensure its impact resonates throughout the community.
I live in Moss Park. I live just a bit south of the park at Richmond and Sherbourne. And I started studying Moss Park before I actually moved into the neighborhood. So I started studying Moss Park in 2014 because I was interested in what was then called More Moss Park. So I studied that for 2014 through, 2016 and 17 when it just sort of disappeared. And then I joined the Moss Park Coalition a couple of years ago, which is where I'll end up the talk on. And that's a coalition of people who are interested in Moss Park and interested in improving the conditions of the lives of people who live, work, play, exist in Moss Park, but not from a top-down, like we need to develop it and redevelop it and gentrify it, but rather a collective sort of response to the urban change that is happening in the neighborhood. The demographics are changing though, in some ways, right? There are significant numbers of luxury or unaffordable condos that are being built up Sherbourne, on Queen. There's a huge new development being built just south of the Moss Park apartments. And the city, as much as they've tried, has not been able to mandate enough affordable housing in these units. So they'll largely be market rate or luxury. And so we saw in the 2015 consultations around the John Ennis that there were community members who were advocating for cleanup of the park or other sorts of interventions that might displace homeless or displace sex workers or drug users or whomever else the population was that people were fearful of. And the challenge with displacement is, where do they go, right? Like, where do people who are precariously housed, experiencing addiction, or in need of the social services that exist in the neighborhood, where do they end up? And that's never the kind of the part of that conversation when we're talking about cleaning a neighborhood up. So we do hear those conversations, but I think that in the neighborhood, there's a recognition that poverty is part of urban life, and that the solution isn't displacement, but rather trying to figure out ways to improve the conditions of people so that they might work themselves out of poverty or find other options, etc. The Moss Park Coalition is a group of individuals that are either live in the neighborhood or connected to the neighborhood in some way, who are advocating for those types of things, right? And what we are ultimately arguing is that all of this investment, there's a ton of public investment happening within the neighborhood, and there's a ton of private investment in the neighborhood, should be leveraged for community development, right? If you're going to invest in these things, it shouldn't just be for some future resident that you imagine to buy a market rate condo in the neighborhood, and it should be for the people who exist in the neighborhood now, with the acknowledgement that the density will continue to increase, that there'll be new people that come into the neighborhood, but they shouldn't. But the amenities shouldn't all just be designed for this future market rate resident. But it should also include thinking about the needs, the wants, the desires of the people who exist in Moss Park now.
Councillor Moise hosts housing clinics to aid Ward 13 residents. City Councillor Chris Moise is offering a lifeline to Ward 13 residents with My Access to Housing TO clinics in Regent Park. These clinics, running from May 9th to May 31st, aim to assist those on the Rent Geared to Income RGI housing centralized waiting list or needing help applying for RGI housing. Working alongside Access to Housing and Housing Help Centers, Moise's clinics are set to address the pressing issue of housing accessibility in the community. In an exclusive interview with RPTV, Juliet Acadia sheds light on the purpose of these clinics, how they help individuals applying for RGI housing, the role of Access to Housing and Housing Help Center staff, and any eligibility criteria or documentation requirements for attendees.
My name is Juliet Acadia. I'm the Director of Operation and Revitalization for Councillor Moise's office.
Juliet, could you please provide us an overview of what the My Access to Housing TO sign-up clinics are and what's their purpose?
So I'm not sure if you remember, in November or so, there was announcement made to people who are currently on RGI waiting list for them to sign up for My Access to Housing account. And the purpose of that is so that the City of Toronto is able to accurately know how many people are still on the waiting list and also to update their system. And so that it's also easy for applicant to update their file. So what happened was that many people, especially in our ward, they were not, or they're not registered to this My Access to Housing account. And most of them, they were receiving notification that if they don't sign up for this My Access to Housing account, and that the application will be refused. There was so much panic, and we were receiving a lot of calls from constituents. So we decided, you know what, we have to ensure that our community members who are on waiting list, their application is up to date. So we decide to put this together so that we can provide that support for them to register for My Access to Housing account so that they can actually be able to continuously participate in the process of choice-based and also to ensure that the application is up to date. So that's why our office put this together to assist them.
Juliet, can you also provide us how these clinics assist individuals in applying for RGI units, rent geared to income housing?
So in each of the unit sessions, we have city staff and also other community agency who can assist people with the application. So, for example, if the first part of the clinic is to take constituent through the process, the journey, that's what they call it, from the beginning that you apply for your housing and the different stages and what to expect and the fulsome explanation. So that's the first part of the clinic. And then the second part then is one-on-one. So if you have questions and you want to have staff to look into your application to ensure that everything is there and complete. So that is when after the presentation, and then we go through one-on-one with applicant to provide them a fulsome and individualized response to whatever questions that they have. So, as you know, the housing market right now is very high. If you are someone who is a newcomer to rent a place where their OW or ODSP money is very less, and expecting them to be able to afford a one-bedroom or even a room in Toronto is hard, right? So the first thing that we tell people who are here, especially newcomers, is that housing, the RGI housing, it is a long-term plan. It's not a short-term solution to the current situation. So the first thing to do, however, is to ensure you actually apply. If you don't put your name on the waiting list, there is no hope. There is no something to look forward to, right? So it is very important to be on the wait list, because without it, where are you going to go, right? That being said, though, we also provide information about affordable housing, not necessarily RGI, because the RGI is the long term. The wait list is very, very long. However, there are other options for those who are able to afford it, and for those who are able to apply for all the benefits that will help them reduce the rent. Those ones, we do still provide such information. So that's why it's very important for people to come to this clinic, because there are information that they may not be aware of and that they can actually benefit.
In every clinic, you receive clients from all walks of life. Based on your experience, what kind of clients come to these clinics in the Toronto Centre area?
So, as you know, Toronto Centre is huge. It's huge not in geography, but the people, right? We have different kind of ethnicity, demographic, whether it's social, economical, and all of the above. So that is very representative of our clinic, and there are newcomers, and there are elderly people, and there are people who are already on RGI unit who are looking for more information, especially if they are looking for transfers because of on the housing situation that they're in. So we have all kinds of people, young, old. We do have just as diverse as our Toronto Centre is also diverse as our clinic.
And why do you think it's important to have this clinic here in Regent Park?
Thank you so much for that question. It is very important. So as I said initially, according to the city data, it was shown that Toronto Centre have the least amount of people who have registered for my access to housing. So when we got that information and we said, we have to do something, right? So that is one of the motivation that is making us to do this. And what a better place to do that if not Regent Park, right? So Regent Park is very dear to our hearts, and we have the people, the resources in terms of the space, and as well as the majority of people who are here, even though that some of them are currently living in RGR units, but there are lots of families who also they're not on RGR wait list and who need to. So what a better place to do. We have the resources, we have the people, we have the space, and yeah, so that's why we put it all together. And here, I still do have other locations across our ward, which is one is Wesley Community Center, and also St. Lawrence, but we have the majority of the clinic here. It has been very successful till now. We have had 2 sessions or 3, and we've helped more than 60 people. And it is really great to see people coming out to get the support. So we are also working with SDFA to come to one of these sessions, 1 or 2, to provide additional support, such as applying for subsidy for recreation and to help people apply for subsidy for childcare and medical aid and all the services that city provides, so that they can take advantage of that. So as per the work that the councillor is doing in office, he's a passionate person. He cares for the people, and we're here to support and then to provide. Information is power, right? So if you don't know, you don't know. So if we have the capacity to bring that information to people so that they can make informed choices and informed decision making. And I think that is very important. We're here. Our constituency office is always open. And we're here from Monday to Thursday. And we were very intentional when we opened our constituency office so that people know we're in the community. We're here to serve. And don't be a stranger. Come and come visit us.
Toronto Council Fire Native Cultural Centre hosts Inspiring Community Health Gathering 2024. On May 3rd, 2024, the Toronto Council Fire Native Cultural Centre welcomed members of the Downtown East Indigenous communities to the Community Health Gathering 2024. This event served as a vibrant platform for urban Indigenous community members, service providers, and allies to converge and exchange invaluable insights on holistic health and well-being and networking. The event saw a remarkable turnout, with key organizations in attendance, including the Women's College Hospital Centre for Wise Practices in Indigenous Health, Anishinaabe Health Toronto, NCCT, Native Canadian Centre of Toronto, Toronto Public Health Dental Clinic, Chiropractic Memorial College of Canada, Indigenous Diabetes Health Circle, among others. This inclusive gathering, free to all, showcased community activities, door prizes, and light refreshments. It underscored the critical need for comprehensive and holistic support for Indigenous communities in Downtown East, particularly in Moss Park and Regent Park, where many urban Indigenous residents live. This support encompasses spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional well-being, as well as providing counseling, material aid, and other essential services to First Nations Indigenous throughout Toronto. Among the attendees was Thundercloud, a beloved member of the Regent Park community, renowned for her roles as a meditation guide and community journalist, With Thundercloud and Fred Alvarado leading the charge in capturing the event's essence, let's dive into the heart of the gathering as Thunder steps forward to shape our story. Now it's time to hear from Thundercloud.
Hello, I'm Thundercloud from Regent Park TV, and I'm at the Indigenous Health Fair gathering in Corktown, which is Regent Park and also called Cabbagetown. Here today we have Gina Lefebvre, a community member. And how are you enjoying the health gathering, Gina?
Oh, I'm having a wonderful time. I've met a lot of different booths from an Indigenous agency, public health agency, different other agencies regarding chiropractic, let's say, or something to do with mental health. But I went to all the booths and they were very welcoming. They're giving out a lot of little, little pens and little gift bags or bags and information, and they're very welcoming. And they had like a paper where you can go around and you get it stamped, and then maybe you'll win a prize at the very end. It's almost like a bingo, you get all the stamps done and then you get a prize. So I thought that was kind of nice. And the food was amazing. They had a bunch of sandwiches and hummus and fruit, cheese, crackers. And the staff is just very accommodating. They helped me, they served me the food and everything. It's a wonderful organization and a wonderful event today. Thank you, Thunder, for welcoming me, inviting me to this event. And for all the sponsors of this event, they did an excellent job of informing the community. And there's a lot of representation, which I like, for seniors, which I soon am going to be a senior in about a year. So I got a lot of information to help myself as well. Thank you. And I'm grateful for this event. And they should have more of this for many other communities as well.
Thank you to Council Fire, the Ontario Federation of Indian Friendship Centres, and University of Toronto for sponsoring this wonderful event. And it seems like Gina's having a really great time here.
My name is Amanda.
And here we have Amanda from Council Fire. And Amanda is our greeter at the health fair. And I've mentioned the sponsors. How are you enjoying your day today? And thank you for working.
My pleasure. It's been a great day so far. It's a beautiful day. We're in a beautiful space, and we have had a great turnout of community coming in to visit all the health booths. So we've got a really good selection of health booths and services in the area to showcase what they can offer the community, but also so they can work together so we can know what each other has to service the community. Because a lot of times there's so many programs and good things going on that sometimes we don't know what each other's doing, and we can support each other, right? Because there's so much work to do out there. So the more we work together, the better it is.
So there's a lot of good networking happening at this event.
That's correct. That's correct. And a lot of good handouts. We're going to go around at about 2:00, and we're going to interview all the different booths. Just get for them to tell us what services they offer. And then we're going to have a hoop dance demonstration at about 3:30. We did have a nice selection of food, but that all went quickly, as food usually does. Healthy food, always, yeah. So it's been a really good turnout. I'm really happy with it. And I think it being a sunny day, it always works in our favor.
Very kind.
Yeah, that's what we try and promote, right? Compassion, kindness, the 7 grandfather teachings. Try and live by that every day. And that Council Fire,
all those important things.
Exactly. And Council Fire is very authentic that way. So we've got a really great team that knows what they're doing. Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. I'm glad the more we can spread awareness about the services that are available to help, the better. So thank you for coming.
Certainly. It makes a healthier community and world, doesn't it?
Exactly, and that's what we need. We need to be healthy and well, all of us, right? In body, mind, and spirit. So.
Exactly. Body, mind, and spirit.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you. Miigwech.
Hey, miigwech.
Hello, my name is Audette Fabian. I am a new hire with UHN, specifically in the Indigenous Health Department and the Social Medicine Department. So I'm a hybrid role. My titles are Indigenous Community Healthcare Worker as well as Indigenous Social Medicine Navigator. So I'm tied between two different programs, but whereas my co-workers here work in the emergency department as well as service the downtown area, I will be mostly aftercare and follow-up in the community. So I'll be helping community members in the GTA access services or find pathways that they need or navigate any barriers they may encounter, access nurse practitioners, connect them with housing, connect them with any opportunities they may need in order to help their situation.
Perfect. So, Gwe Delawusi Iswa Wickel Baptism. So what I've said is hello. My name is Circling Wolf. That's my spirit name. My tax name is Leonard Benwall. I am Alibu Mi'kmaq. Come from Burjo First Nation on ceded territory of Newfoundland and Labrador. I work at UHN as an Indigenous patient navigator. It's all about building relationships with community, building relationships with of course, other partners, making sure that when folks come into hospital and into institutions, they can feel safe. And the whole purpose of our program is making sure that people get connected to good quality care that have the best possible outcome.
So my name is Sheena Taylor, and I work for Tungasovanga Inuit. It means a place where Inuit are welcome, and we serve the Inuit community in Toronto. We do all kinds of stuff from counseling to health promotion to service navigation, food security, and more. And I'm here with two of my coworkers from Ottawa who are in the cancer care program.
Welcome from Ottawa.
Yes.
We're in Toronto.
Most of our org is based out of Ottawa, but we have an office here in Toronto as well.
That's wonderful. So how do you like the big city here?
It's great.
Great, yeah. What's your purpose here?
We're here to share information about our Ontario Inuit Cancer Program. So we are slowly but surely expanding our services to Toronto as well, the Toronto Inuit community. So we have services like smoking cessation workshops, cancer screening, support and navigation, and healthy eating initiatives that are coming up. So
that's really wonderful and great to know that there's all this support for health care.
Hi, my name is Rachel Nungna. I'm from Baker Lake, Nunavut. I'm from Kamnitwa, and I am the coordinator for the Ontario Inuit Cancer Program. So I work with Tungasivanga Inuit, and we do smoking cessation, and we do food security. We do a lot of services, so you can just contact us through Facebook, email.
My name is Lori Okimawanu.
Welcome, Lori Okamawan. And what is the importance of the Indigenous health gathering?
For me, like I mentioned earlier when I spoke, I feel like the importance of this gathering is to really bridge the gaps between the healthcare system and Indigenous people. Often that our Indigenous people go into hospitals and they're unseen or seen in a different way. So I think it's important to bring these healthcare providers here to really see who we are as a people and be seen as people. That's important. I mean, Council Fire is an Indigenous cultural friendship center, but we service Regent Park. We've been providing meals to Regent Park residents and people that come and use our food bank. And I mean, we offer cultural, traditional aspects of all the entire family, right? And we also reach out to our non-Indigenous allies to support us in this community as well. So we've been a big part of Regent Park for many years. We've serviced Regent Park for many years, but that's not the only community we serve. We service the entire city of Toronto, especially the Indigenous community. So I think the impact that we have on this city is huge. It's huge. we reach a lot of Indigenous people. Yep.
Yes, it is an incredible service, I call it. We serve so many people. I've worked at Council Fire as well, done storytelling for children. And it's been, through COVID, it was just incredible, like many meals a day and everyone welcome. Love the 4 colors, and that's part of the medicine wheel, exactly.
Yeah, it's part of the 7 grandfather teachings, right? To show humility and to, just to give to all community. And that's really what we want to see as Indigenous people, is to be giving, be kind, be caring, and going back to the original ways of living and knowing and doing. And if you do that, then it will be an easier place to live, We live in a huge city. There's tons of people. They say we're a melting pot, where they say we're whatever. We have many names. But what I'd like to be seen and known as is a kind person that was willing to help somebody else out. And that's what we do at Toronto Council Fire.
Yes. Kindness makes the world and the city a warmer, better place, and it strengthens the circle as well.
And that's what we believe in, the circle. Yeah, the circle needs to be tight. And I wish we did we were going to do the dream catcher, right, today, and we didn't get to do that. But that web and all how we are all connected, no matter what race we are. We're all connected. We have a service to do. And to me, that's what I believe. We're put on this earth to be service to others. And yes, we have to enjoy ourselves and our lives while we do that. And I do. And I enjoy myself.
And you do it very well. It's been a pleasure to meet you, sister. Yes. Miigwech.
Dixon Hall's Storytelling Through Food celebrates Regent Park's culinary diversity on April 30th, 2024. Dixon Hall hosted Storytelling Through Food at the Daniel Spectrum Building, a delightful event showcasing the culinary treasures of Bengali, Urdu, Hindi, Vietnamese, Chinese, and Somali cultures. All ages were welcome to savor the diverse flavors of Regent Park while gaining fresh perspectives through cultural narratives. Attendees savored traditional dishes and stories from Regent Park residents, like July from China, Amina from Somalia, Hao from Vietnam, and Ashrafi from Bangladesh, highlighting the significance of embracing cultural diversity and fostering connections through shared culinary experiences. This event underscores the importance of knowing and appreciating other cultures through food in Regent Park. RPTV reporter Kedar Ahmed caught up with Ashrafi Ahmed from Banglar Sad, a renowned catering company specializing in Bengali and South Asian cuisine. Now let's tune into Ashrafi's insights.
Hi, my name is Kedar Ahmed, and I'm here at the first floor of the Daniel Spectrum on 585 Dundas Street here, where Dixon Hall is having an event. And I have one of the vendors here with me. And
hi, my name is Ashrafi Ahmed. I'm leading today Banglar Sad Catering Group, our Gardeners Catering Kitchen. Yeah.
And what brought you out here today to this event?
This is bring me here to explore and describe my culture. So I'm from Bangladesh, and I like to showcase our cultural food.
That's wonderful. And is there anywhere else that people could order the food that you just showcased today at the event?
We also bring our brochure, and brochure have a different menu and also our contact information. Dixon Hall Youth Center, they organize this event, and they just contacting with me to asking some cultural food. That time she asking me why you choose the menu. So today we serve coconut shrimp, we call malai curry, chingri malai curry, and also we provide plain rice with dal curry and also rasgulla, because rasgulla is one of our famous dessert. Any event, any cultural event, any celebration, rasgulla is the symbol of the celebration. So I really appreciate their great support, because we have lots of community member involved our this catering initiative, and this is like a first time we start with a Gardeners Catering Kitchen. Now there is so many different women's group in the community, they involve and they love to work, because this is like a women's empowerment. So I'm working, I have a full-time job, but I also love to support my community members. I really appreciate because Regent Park now grow because I saw the revitalization change a lot. So that one, you can see the different cultural background, different cultural food. So today I see there is a Pakistani food, there is a Bangladeshi cuisine, there is a Vietnamese food, there is a Somali food. So Regent Park is the community hub where we all live together, or we all support each other. And whatever we are come from the culture, we love to celebrate through food. So that's why this initiative not only celebrate the Regent Park, also our culture, also our community, and the entrepreneur thing too. Because people also they're surviving through food. And love to see this kind of even more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being here.
RPNA member addresses affordable housing challenges. Walid Kongali Ali, a prominent leader and member of the Regent Park's Neighbourhood Association and the Social Development Plan co-chair, delves into critical issues surrounding affordable housing. Kongali Ali sheds light on the ongoing efforts to secure affordable housing, emphasizing the importance of this issue for all residents. He highlights the distinction between the market-based approach currently being pursued and the city's own bylaw, OPA558, which bases affordability on income rather than market value. Of particular concern is Bill 185, the Cutting Red Tape to Build More Homes Act. 2024 recently introduced to the Ontario legislature. Kongali Ali warns that the legislation poses significant challenges to affordable housing initiatives not only in Regent Park but across Ontario. He voices apprehensions about the bill's potential to sideline community input from the development process and limit municipal oversight, raising questions about its long-term impact on housing affordability. Stay tuned for Wali Kongali Ali's insights and updates on these pressing housing issues in the following interview.
Regent Park, my name is Walid Kongali Ali, and I want to provide you a quick update on the efforts to secure affordable housing in Regent Park, but also provide you an update on Bill 185, a new law that's going to challenge that effort to build affordable housing, not just in phases 4 and 5, but across the province of Ontario. So, quick reminder, when we talk about affordable housing, it is based on income. It's not based on market. That's why we talk about rent geared to income, RGI, and not rent geared to market. Because that is impossible to afford, especially due to the rising prices in the for-profit market. So as a community representative and a resident, I actually appealed the rezoning application for phases 4 and 5 because there was no commitment to rent geared to income. They wanted to define affordability based on market, and that's a decision that I disagree with, that Toronto Community Housing and Tridel the for-profit developer has proposed to City Council. So what has happened? Well, after the appeal, I received notification on April 9th that it will be dismissed by the Ontario Land Tribunal, and we're right now in the process of a review. So we have another 30 days where we could put forward our arguments before we go to the courts, the divisional courts, to make our argument. And this review is going to be done by the Ontario Land Tribunal itself. And our focus is that they must respect and abide by the city bylaw known as OPA 558. OPA 558, which defines affordable housing based on income. So what happened next? Well, on April 10th, Doug Ford's government, with the objection of the loyal opposition, the NDP, New Democratic Party, and the Liberal Party, both voted against this really horrific legislation, and it's now gone to second reading and might go to third reading and become law after the committee
considers it, Committee on Economic Affairs, Finance and Economic Affairs. And what this bill does is it cuts community voices from the development process. What I mean by that is residents like myself who just appealed and other groups will not be allowed to appeal rezoning applications if this law passes. It's horrible because it shuts out our voices from the process. The other important thing is that there's a clause in the law that will allow them to dismiss existing appeals. So current appeals that are going through the process of review, for example, when it comes to OPA 558, this law will allow them to dismiss existing appeals, which is undemocratic and unfair and affront to the amount of effort put in by groups or residents like myself to ensure that we follow the rules, we follow the laws that have been established. The other piece of this legislation that's problematic is this limited municipal oversight. So it takes away jurisdictions of the cities or municipal government when it comes to the development process. So there is, it will basically make it difficult for communities to influence what sort of housing is built in our community. So that's another big setback. And if you care about green spaces, if you care about the green belt, well, this legislation makes it much more difficult for us to protect green spaces in our neighborhoods, in our community, but also the green belt. It'll make it much easier for for-profit developers to encroach or to build on the green belt, which is something that many of us oppose. So I want to encourage you to speak, not just to your member of parliament provincially, but also to write your thoughts, submit your thoughts. This law hasn't been passed yet, but the deadline to submit your thoughts is Wednesday, May 15th. So you have an opportunity to go to the OLA.org website, which is the Ontario Legislature's website, and you can submit your comments, your thoughts about this law and what it will mean to our community, what it will mean to you, and also our collective goal to ensure that we have deeply affordable housing in our communities, because if we don't build affordable housing here in Regent Park, where will we ever build affordable housing? This is the most ideal place. So let's collectively work together to ensure that our community is not just safe, but it's inclusive and it's affordable.
RPTV's Gabriel Meissner covers pro-Palestinian encampment at U of T, where students continue their demonstration despite rainy and windy conditions. The encampment, established on the downtown campus King's College Circle, drew attention as protesters called on the school to distance itself from Israel. Despite the university's concerns about safety and its request for the protesters to leave by Thursday night, the encampment remained, with students reinforcing tents and materials to withstand the weather. Administrators clarified that peaceful protesters would not be forcibly removed. Similar pro-Palestinian encampments have been set up at Canadian universities, including McGill University in Montreal, the University of Ottawa, and the University of British Columbia in Vancouver. Gabriel Meissner's visit provided first-hand insights and interviews with the demonstrators, shedding light on their motivations and experiences.
My name is Marco Lagrada. Well, I've just arrived at the encampment. So far it's been an electric atmosphere. It's one of the biggest demonstrations I've seen in Toronto in a long time. And we're obviously seeing big demonstrations everywhere. We have occupations in Vancouver, occupations in Ottawa. An encampment just went up the other day. And obviously the inspiring occupations all throughout the United States, which harkens back to the protests against the Vietnam War back in the day. So in a lot of ways, the students here, I think they're sort of retying the knot of history. And we need to spread this movement, spread it not just to other campuses, but spread it to working people as well. I think working people have the ability to shut down the economy and to stop the shipment of arms to Israel. So I'd also say, yes, we've got to build on the campuses, but we also have to build it into working class communities like Regent Park and all across the city and all across the country.
My name is Louise. I haven't been here very long, but from past experience, these gatherings are always very friendly and supportive, and the people here are really committed to standing up for human rights. The key message at today's protest and for this encampment is for the university to be accountable for their decisions. The funding that they provide to organizations that invest in weapons and other things that are used against civilians in Palestine, a university shouldn't be associated with that. So all of these people are here to demand that there is more accountability from this university in terms of what they invest in and what they support.
Hi, I'm Susie. I'm a resident of Toronto, and I'm here for a number of reasons. I wholeheartedly support the liberation of Palestine. U of T has a special place in my heart because I'm actually a graduate of U of T many years ago, and I've been supporting the students here at U of T who have been addressing the genocide, have been trying to get U of T faculty and President Gertler to address the investments and the funding of Israeli institutions and arms, basically. And they have worked so hard for almost 7 months to no avail. And I completely agree with them that they've exhausted all means of doing so. And from what I understand, that's why the encampment's happening. I absolutely support them. What do I hope will change? I frankly hope that Israel's occupation of Palestine will end. I hope for ceasefire yesterday. We're all watching in real time a genocide. My study at U of T specialized in the Second World War and Holocaust and European history and politics. And I never, ever in my life thought that we'd see what we are seeing take place in Gaza and the West Bank. And one of the things we often studied in university, it was the great question was, how could this happen? How could so many people have witnessed this? How could so many people have stood by? And I will say what many are saying now, which is, if you want an answer to that question, it is exactly what you're doing right now or not doing. What are you doing to stop a genocide which is happening before our very eyes? That's why I'm here.
My experience has been overwhelmingly positive. I've seen nothing but peaceful protesters. These protesters are not calling for any sort of hate crime. They're not calling for any sort of violence. We're not attacking anything. We're not burning anything. It's just the fact that we're just speaking about this is upsetting some elites, I feel like, who want this war to be continued, and they want the Israeli crimes to go unnoticed. So all this negative coverage and all these baseless accusations of anti-Semitism and everything that has been going our way, it's all basically just a bunch of lies to silence people and to silence all these students and all these people here protesting.
Regent Park reacts. Ontario school cell phone and vaping crackdown. As Ontario witnesses a concerning surge in cell phone use and vaping among students, the provincial government is taking firm action. Education Minister Stephen Lecce unveiled new measures aimed at reducing distractions caused by mobile devices and combating the rising trend of vaping in schools. Starting in September, students from kindergarten to grade 12 will face stricter rules on cell phone use during school hours, with non-compliance potentially resulting in disciplinary actions, including suspension. Additionally, Ontario is implementing a comprehensive ban on vaping in schools, allocating $30 million for security upgrades to enforce the ban effectively. Dr. Kieran Moore, the province's Chief Medical Officer of Health, emphasized the importance of protecting students from the harmful effects of vaping. Meanwhile, RPTV hit the streets to gauge community reactions to the new measures. Interviews with students and youth shed light on their perspectives and concerns regarding the impact of these regulations on their daily lives and educational experiences.
My name is Kedar, and I'm out here today in the Regent Park community getting some feedback on the cell phone ban usage in the TDSB school. And today I have with me
Jenny.
And Jenny, how do you feel about cell phones usage being banned in schools?
I think it can be helpful for student learning because sometimes cell phones can be a little bit distracting for the teachers and the students, especially if the teachers are trying to teach something relevant. It can be helpful, but I can also see the student side of things where maybe they need to search for things, search for words. There's a lot of students that might need some extra help with English or with a certain subject, and they might need to use Google Translate a little bit to kind of help them out with their work. So I can see where that's coming from, where they actually need to use their cell phones.
Well, so I'm Raul. I'm a student still. And I think they're banning cell phones and stuff because it's just a big distraction. Like, well, sometimes the teacher won't be here that day, and we'll just be on our phones playing the entire period instead of actually being productive and stuff. So I think pros, it's gonna help us achieve a lot of stuff and get our grades back up. Cons, it just won't be as fun, and I think I might skip more.
My name is Ken. I go to Northern. I just think banning cell phones is it's stupid because no one's gonna listen either way, and they're trying to say they're gonna suspend kids for not listening and not putting away their phones. That just means they're basically gonna suspend the whole school because everyone uses their phones, even teachers use their phones. So how are you gonna ban something that everyone uses in school? And it's just dumb.
They've been trying to ban it for years now, and it hasn't worked out since. So,
Caitlin, and how I feel about the ban is I'm kind of 50-50 because I see some pros in allowing people to have access to their phone during school time, but I also understand where educators are coming from. Maybe they see it as a distraction, but not everyone is using the phone the way that maybe people perceive it as they're being distracted. They're on social media during school time. Maybe they're actually using it for benefit, researching and stuff, because some people might not have easy accessibility to internet or laptops within school, so they resort to using their personal phones or stuff like that. So I see it 50-50.
I don't think it's too bad because I feel like some students need to focus more on school rather than pay attention to their phones when they can do that at home or other places. But I also think that some students need it in case it's an emergency and they need to talk to their parents about something.
Raymond. And me personally, I think they shouldn't ban the phones because it's really a necessary evil in order to keep the students in class. I mean, yeah, they might go on Snapchat, TikTok, but at least they're still staying in class, unlike other students who are skipping class. And I think it's better if they absorb the knowledge through their ears while they're multitasking on their phones, because I think that's much more easier to absorb when they're entertained instead of when they're learning, because no one learns when they're thinking they're learning. They only learn when they think they're having fun.
My opinion of this is I don't think it should be a ban as much of a control. If it's interfering with students' ability to learn, then definitely, let's put some sort of parameters on the usage of it. But if all they're doing is doom scrolling or doing social media and ignoring what is being taught, that's not going to help them in their lives going forward. So that's my opinion.
Well said. Thank you so much.
My name is Mohammed, and my opinion is almost like hers. It should be controlled, but banned, I feel is kind of, excessive, especially because I'm a student. Of course it needs to be controlled, maybe for students who always use their phone, only use their phone. But banning it for everybody is, I feel, maybe a little unfair, but I see the reasoning behind it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's my opinion.
Well, thank you both very much. And you heard it first. It should be controlled and not banned.
Events and jobs in Regent Park community. Yoga in Regent Park on Mondays until May 27th at Daniel Spectrum at the Dance Art Institute. For more information, email at adecate@gmail.com. Scholarships available. Join the 51 Division Open House on Saturday, June 15 from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. A family-friendly event with police exhibits, TPS, vintage cars station, tours, entertainment, food, and more. The open house will take place at 51 Parliament Street. Hope to see you there. The Centre of Learning and Development invites you to participate in the ACT Series event, Youth, Race, and Faith in Toronto's Regent Park with Aditi Mehta. This event will take place on May 9th from 6 to 8 p.m. at 540 Dundas Street East. For more information, contact Sharia at tccld.org. Songs from the Journey free community tickets available while quantities last. Tickets are limited to 4 per person. The event will take place on Friday, June 21st, 2024 at Corner Hall. Pick up the Daniel Spectrum from Tuesday, May 14 to May 18, 2024.
And that's all for today's show, folks. My name is Kedar, and my co-hosts are Jabin and Fred. We would also like to thank our team of researchers that contributed to this week's show, and from our studios located at Focus Media Arts Center. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next week.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please follow our social media platforms. For more information, check out our website.